is the neshama come from state one, which is a neshama, to connect it to a body. Now, right now we'll talk about the first time. The first time. There is something called reincarnation. We'll talk about it later, when the neshama could come after it was in a body earlier. But let's talk about the simple things. Start from the simple things. So, as we said, the Gemara in Kiddushin, Shlosha shutafim ba'adam, 3 partners in every human being, the father and the mother and Hashem. And Hashem gives the neshama. Now, what is the neshama? And how the neshama entered the body? This is a very big thing. I mentioned in the former classes that the neshama and the body are two extreme opposites. The neshama is completely spiritual, the body is completely physical, and they are just at the 2 far ends that you could imagine. The neshama, as we said in the morning, Elokai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. It's pure. The neshama is pure. The purity means that the neshama interested in the real stuff. And the real stuff is the spirituality, the growing, the actualizing your spiritual potential by your action, meaning that you gain them yourself. It's not will be in you automatically. That's what interests the neshama. The body is not interested in this at all. The body is just interested in eating, sleeping, doing physical things, and that's it. Now, there is an amazing deep Gemara. I'll first quote it to you, and then we'll have to go piece by piece to explain. In Masechet Nida. The Gemara in Masechet Nida speaks about this amazing thing, how the neshama got involved with the body. So let's first read the words of the Gemara, and then we'll try to explain them. So the Gemara in Masechet Nida B'daf Lamed, in the page 30, Amud Bet, says the following: Lema havlad dome b'me'e imo. It speaks about the fetus and how we could understand what's going on in the pregnancy. So this is the question. Lema havlad dome b'me'e imo. Give us a sense of how it forms. And basically, the emphasis over here is the amazing connection between the body and the soul, not the technical pregnancy. Okay? So answer the Gemara the following: Lepinkas shemunach shemekupal umunach. To a folder or a tablet that fold. It's all parables. We have to explain everything. But imagine a tablet, okay? Vener daluk lo al rosho, and there is a candle that lit on its head. Vetzofe umabit misof haolam ve'ad sofo. And he has the ability of a vision from the one end of the world to the other end of the world, meaning the entire reality. ומלמדים אותו את כל התורה כולה. And he was taught the entire Torah. And in Hebrew it says, Kol HaTorah Kula. So double kol. Which means everything in the Torah. And the Torah has 4 levels, Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod, everything. Okay, so he was, during this pregnancy, the 9 months, מלמדים אותו את כל התורה כולה, someone teaching him the entire Torah. וכיוון שבא לאוויר העולם, when the 9 months got to the end and he is about to come to this world, the connection of him with the real world, meaning outside of the womb, caused him a shock. According to the words of the Gemara, וכיוון שבא לאוויר העולם, בא מלאך וסותרו על פיו. Come an angel and slap him on his mouth, ומשכחו כל התורה כולה. And this slap will cause the baby, the fetus that become now a baby, to forget the entire thing that you learned. Okay, so this is the Gemara. I'm sure some of you heard about this Gemara before, but now let's explain it according to what we want to give in this, to deliver in this series. So the topic over here is the connection between the body and the soul, the quality of the soul before it enters the body, the process of entering the body during the pregnancy, and what happened in the actual delivery when a baby is born. So these are the things. So let's start from the beginning description. לפנקס שמקופל ומונח. To a folded written tablets. So imagine a pinkas. You know what pinkas? How do you say pinkas in English? A notebook. Okay, a notebook. Take a notebook, but the Gemara speaks about the notebook of those times. In the Mishnah, it was not exactly the way you're using now. So let's just operate a little bit our imagination. Take a notebook. There are hardcover relatively to the pages inside, right? Take all the pages out. So you have only the cover. So the cover is folded like this, right? So this is the pinkas. This is the pinkas at the old time, because it's mentioned in the Mishnah that the grocery stores people was writing down their bills on those kind of pinkasim, of those kind of notebooks, which was two pieces of wood that was folding, okay? Folded. So here, the Gemara relate to the body of the fetus. And we know it, that the fetus in the beginning of the pregnancy is like concentrated and very small, and during the pregnancy it opened and developed, right? So this is pretty accurate description of what we know today about the developing of the body. Okay, next line. After that the body is כפנקס שמקופל ומונח, נר דלוק לו על ראשו. There is a little candle on its head. So of course there is no candles there. For sure not lit, because it will be a whole fire. What is the meaning of this? And be aware of ner daluk lo al rosho, over its head. In order to understand this candle, we have to go to the Tanakh. There is a pasuk in Sefer Mishlei, one of the 3 books that Shlomo HaMelech gave us, left for us of his wisdom. Mishlei. Mishlei is a whole book of parables. Now let me just explain what is a parable and why we use it and how useful is it. When I want to teach or learn something very delicate intellectually, something that's really hard to grasp, something abstract, the way to learn it and for sure to teach it is to use a parable from the everyday life. Things that everyone could relate to, because you understand how it works, right? So you have to choose carefully your parable that will be a real in common between the parable and the thing that you want to really learn, right? So Shlomo HaMelech did it. He was wise and he wrote a whole book of parables. In this particular one, you want to teach us something very, very delicate intellectually about something that you cannot really understand, which is the spiritual dimension of a human being, neshama. So we want to speak about the neshama. But neshama is something abstract. But you want to give us some sense of what we could know about the neshama. And he chose a very interesting parable. Let me read the pasuk. The pasuk is in Perek Kaf, chapter 20, verse 27. Pasuk of Zayin. So the pasuk says the following: Ner Hashem nishmat Adam chofes kol chadrei batim. This is the why. So he speaks up, he wanted to teach us about the neshama. But he said the neshama is a candle of God. Ner Hashem. Ner is a candle. Ner of God is the neshama of the human being. חופש כל אחד לבד and forget. Search okay. It doesn't, it's not important now. The neshama is a candle. Now what is a candle? And how the neshama is a candle? In the old-time candles, a candle is actually a combination of 4 parts, 4 components. A vessel, could be any. Usually it's cheres, kli cheres. It's a kli, it's a tool, vessel. In the vessel there is liquid, oil, or anything that could burn, right? Then there is a wick. So this is 3. The tool, the vessel, the vessel is 1, the oil, or anything else that could make something burn, and the wick. And then there is a flame. And from all those 4 parts, we are going to concentrate in the flame of candle. Flame of a candle is a very interesting thing, even in the physical level. Few things that we could say about the flame. It has more than 1 color. It always wants to go up, strive to go up. But there is some philosophical things that we should know about the candle and why Shlomo HaMelech chose it, the flame of a candle, to describe the neshama. So let's learn a few rules about the reality. It says in the Torah, "Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz." The reality is a combination of the physical dimension called Aretz, spiritual dimension called Shamayim. When Hashem created Adam at the 6th day of the creation, he took from those 2. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et Adam afar min ha'adama, from the ground, which is the physical. Vayipach be'apav nishmat chaim, and he put into it a neshama. Now, human being is the only intellectual creatures among the creatures that Hashem created, at least those who has material in them. Okay? The fact that we are intelligent causes us a curiosity to understand the world around us. So we have 2 tools in order to realize the reality around us. Because the reality is a combination of physical and non-physical, the way to connect with the physical is through our senses. All our senses, the 5 senses, are physical. And there are the tools or the channels that through them we have access to the physical reality. The way to realize the non-physical reality it's not the senses. The senses cannot give you any information about the non-physical reality around you. You could get it through the ability to think, the seichel. The ability to think could make calculation and get to conclusions that there is more than you see in your physical eyes, hear with your ears, etc. But even that is not giving you a full picture. You know that there is something more, but you don't know the essence of it. Okay. Ramchal summarized the creation, summarize what is the reality. What is the reality? What is the creation? And he says the following, be aware of those rules. The reality is a combination of physical dimension and spiritual dimension. The way to realize the physical is through the senses. So the rules is like this. Anything in the reality that fall under 1 or more of the senses, meaning that you could realize it through your senses, is physical. Remember this rule, it's very important. Okay? So anything in the reality around you, that you could really realize that it's there through your senses, is physical. Rule number 2, physical always is limited by time and space. Every physical element, limited by time and space. According to that, let me give you an example. If you take a bottle of water, few empty glasses, pour the water from the bottle to the glasses, right? You could do that. Every drop that will go to the glass will be for sure missing from the bottle, right? Because any physical could not be in the same place at the same time, in two places in the same time, right? So that's true for every physical thing that we know, but one very interesting thing. Take a candle. Small, cute candle, light it. You got this little flame. This flame is physical, according to rule number 1. Why? You could see it in your eyes, right? You could even feel it. Not recommended for a long time, but you could feel it. You could see it's taking place from here to here. You could measure it. So it's physical. But if you will take a not lit candle, unlit candle, and join the flame and pull out, what will happen? You'll get another flame, right? Where's the original of this? From the original one, but the original one stayed the same. It's not less now. You could take one candle, light from it 100 candles, 1,000 candles. You have 1,000 flames, but the original one stayed there. You could take one small flame and make a big fire out of it. And for sure, this fire, a big fire of the big fire came from this little candle, but still, it's there. So you could find something very interesting about a flame. Of course, there are technical, scientific explanation to this, right? Energy, whatever. But remember that this is just a parable. The parable could be explained, and for sure, there is always a distance between the parable and the thing that you want to learn. Because if not, if they're the same, you could skip the parable, go straight to the real thing. So it doesn't matter if we could explain the parable, what that shows about what Shlomo HaMelech chose to say. He took from all the things in the world a flame of a candle, and it said the neshama is like the flame. So, first of all, because of this, we could understand what the Gemara says. Remember, let's go back. The fetus in the womb is folded, the body. V'ner daluk lo al rosho. What is the ner? The flame. Daluk lo al rosho, meaning the neshama. It speaks about the body. This is the folded thing. But on it, on his head, not in it, on it, there is this flame. There is this flame. By the way, because of this pasuk, I got an answer to a question that was asked here. I'm not sure the person who asked it is here now, but it doesn't matter. I asked this question when I was very young. I heard, and I guess everyone that could put those two together, the question is very obvious. There are two principles in Judaism. One is Tchias HaMeisim. It's one of the 13 principles. Tchias HaMeisim meaning that at the end of days, the bodies of people who lived here during the 6,000 years were raised from their grave, rebuilt, and the neshama will go back to them. This is principle number 1. Now, in the Kabbalah sources, it says that there is such a thing called reincarnation. You have to know that it's a Jewish idea, and the fact that other culture speaks about this too, it's fine, but we have it in the Torah. The Zohar in Parashat Mishpatim speak about it clearly, and not just there, in many other places, that the neshama could come again to this world in a different body. So the obvious question is, if you put those two together, the question is, what will be as Tchias HaMeisim? If the neshama was in more than one body during few certain different times in the history, Tchias HaMeisim will come. Which body will get up? The neshama will go to which body? The last one, the first one, the best one, and what will be with the rest? They will not have Tchias HaMeisim. So that question bothered me for many years, and I'm not the only one. I'm sure everyone. But I'll tell you what happened to me in my journey to try to verify it. I was really insisting to get answers, and I went to everyone that I thought is an authority, tried to look in books, got more than one or even more than two answers. Few answers, few different answers. The common denominator for me for all those answers was that I was not happy. It's, I don't know, doesn't sound solving the problem completely. And that's what usually happened when I was not looking for the question to this particular, the answer to this particular question. I just was learning Tanakh, and I got to this pasuk, and it solved all my problems, and I'm going to share with you the best, and I think the best answer that you could have on this question. Okay, the question is clear, right? Now, see the answer. You know that when you ask a Jew question, they will answer you with a question? And that's the best way. I'll tell you why. Someone will ask me this question, okay? So let's start the question. If the neshama was more than in one body, to what body it will go at the Tchias HaMeisim? Okay? So in the beginning of the question, if the neshama was in more than one, stop, okay? Let me ask you a question about this. You, the question, the person who asked. If the neshama, what is neshama? What is neshama? This is my question to the one who asked me. Okay? So after not too long thought, if this person is intelligent, he should say the answer. I don't know. So what do you ask? I'll tell you why you ask. You ask when you forget that you do not know what neshama is. Because you don't know what is it. But you assume that the neshama is like a cube. Like a box. Like a something. So if this something is here, it could not be there. But if you do not know what is the neshama, and your assumption that it's something from the somethings that you know, this assumption causing the problem. But this assumption is not right. The neshama is not physical. Only physical things are limited by time and space. Limited by space means that if you're in one space, you could not be in the other space in the same time. But it's only if it's physical. What we know about the neshama, one thing for sure, it's not physical. We don't know what it is, but it's not physical. So what's the answer? We do not know. How could we be happy with such an answer? We do not know. We want to know everything. So here comes Shlomo HaMelech and says, you know what, let me tell you something. Neshama is something spiritual. If you're intelligent enough, you have to understand that you should not have expectation to really understand it. Because it's beyond the things that you could understand. But if you want, anyways, to know something about the neshama, let me give you a parable. And the parable is a flame of a candle. Flame of a candle is physical. But let me show you something about the flame of the candle. Flame of the candle, in a way, it's not limited by space. You see, the original one, let's say now the neshama is the flame. Okay? So, there is a neshama. Now you take another dead body, or body without a soul, add a soul to it. From where? From this soul. You have a new soul over here, but the original one stayed exactly the same. From one candle, from one soul, you could divide many, many souls without taking from the original one. More than that, let's go back to the parable of the flame. You have a candle. You light out of it 50 new candles. What if you will take off the original one? It will not influence the others, because since they separated, they have independent existence. Right? So when I think about it, and I think about the question about Tchias HaMesim, I'm very happy now. First of all, it's not either or. All of them could come, because the neshama divided like the flame of the candle. Right? All of them could come. There's no problem with this. So that's my best answer for this question that I just shared with you. Think about it. Fine, let's go back to the Gemara. The Gemara speaks about how the neshama entered the body. So during the 9 months of the pregnancy, the body is built slowly, like a folded things that developed fine. Now we understand even the next line, ner daluk lo al rosho. There is a light, a candle, which is the neshama. Al rosho, it's above it now. The next line is amazing. V'tzofer mabit misof ha'olam v'ad sofo. And he could have a vision of the entire reality, from one end to the world to the other. Right. Now, it says v'tzofer umabit, and it's connected to the light. Through this light that now is above, which is the neshama, which above, it's not still in the limits of the physical body. Remember, only physical is limited by time and space. The neshama now is not inside the body. Therefore, it's not limited by the limitation of time and space. And this is the meaning of v'tzofer mabit misof ha'olam v'ad sofo. What's misof ha'olam v'ad sofo? It's my phone, I'm sorry. I'm not answering, it's my phone. Okay. Misof ha'olam v'ad sofo has two meanings. Either space, from this end to that end, or time, from the beginning of the history to the end of the history. And both of them are here. So Tzofer mabit, meaning he has a vision of the entire reality. No limit of time, no limit of space. Because it's not still yet in the limits of the body. So those two sentences are connected. V'ner daluk lo al rosho, v'tzofer mabit misof ha'olam v'ad sofo. But it's connected also amazingly to the next line. Umelamdin oto et kol haTorah kula. I'll add to this another famous piece of information. Before Hashem created the world, the entire program of the world is in the Torah. Like the Torah is the blueprint of the world. So how he has access to the entire reality from the beginning to the end, no limits of time and space, he's not looking at the reality. He's looking at the program, at the blueprint. And if you know how to read the blueprint, you could see the entire building. Right? So the learning of the entire Torah is for the neshama before it's limited by time and space. He got this information about everything, single thing that is or happened since the beginning to the end of the history. And it's a necessity. If Hashem could skip this process, he will do it. If he teach each one of us, by the way, each one of us, Jews, non-Jews, everyone learned this. It's according to the neshama, actually. Okay, fine. Let's get to it maybe later. ומלמדים אותו כל התורה כולה. And through the learning the entire Torah, because the Torah is the blueprint of the reality, he knows the reality, the entire vision. Now come the next part. וכיוון שבא לאוויר העולם, when the time of the actual born happen, and he is coming to this world, le'avir ha'olam. Now be aware of the word, every word over here is important. Olam. What is olam? Why reality in Hebrew? Why physical reality in Hebrew called olam? The root are the letters Ayin Lamed Mem, which is ha'alama, which is concealment. When he comes to the concealment, then he forgot everything. Because the thing that he knew before has no limits. And now he coming to visit for 120 years. He going for a short visit in a limited reality. The fact that he come to this limited reality must cause him forget. And here also I have to emphasize, to forget something is not to erase the information. When you forget something, it's there. If you will make some effort, sometimes you could remember something that you forget, meaning that it was there. It's there, but it's covered. It's covered. The famous question, or the obvious question that you should ask here, if at the end, by the delivery, the baby, the fetus, forgetting everything, why you taught him in the first place? The answer is, be aware of this. This is a very major principle in Judaism. There is a famous song. I will not sing it to you now, but I'll tell you the words. I have no time for the singing, so I'll tell you just the words. It's deep song with 2 lines. Mipnei ma, it started with a question. Mipnei ma yarda neshama la'olam. Okay, that's the beginning. The answer is the end. Yerida letzorech aliyah. So the question is, why the neshama went down to this world? That's the question. The answer, getting down in order to get up. It's going down in order to get up. Now, this song is very deep, and it's describing something that has a lot of details. I'll just say the following. Imagine a building, 3-story buildings. I know here in Manhattan, 3-story building is nothing. Still, 3-story building. So, the neshama is in the 2nd floor. And there is a staircase down. So the neshama goes down. When the neshama is in state A, that the neshama is in olam neshamot, in the world of souls, it's in the 2nd floor, the upper floor. Not the upper, up compared to the one down, the 2nd story. Now there is a staircase, and the neshama goes down through the staircase and enter the body. And the body with the neshama are living in the 1st floor. Mipnei ma yarda neshama la'olam. For the neshama, it's downgrading, going from where it was to the world of physical. As we said, the neshama is nothing interested here in this world. And Hashem forced her to go down the steps to the 1st floor. Why? Mipnei ma yarda neshama la'olam. The answer is, yerida letzorech aliyah. This going down, it's in order to go up. But go up to where? Not to the 2nd floor. She was in the 2nd floor before. Going down in order to go up to the 3rd floor. What is in the 3rd floor that she didn't have when she was in the 2nd floor? When she was in the neshama, I'm talking about her like a female, she. Okay? When the neshama was in the 2nd floor, the neshama is very pure, and is very, very spiritual, but the neshama didn't do anything in order to have its qualities. It's just in it. Going down to this world is to give the neshama a challenge to cope to struggle with how to survive spiritually in a physical world. And this is the Yerida. This is the going down. And of course, she's facing now challenges that she never had when she was in the spiritual world before. Therefore, she went down to the physical world. After facing few challenges, let's say for a short time of 120 years, she goes up, back again. She separates the first four. And now she's going up with all the success surviving that she could get after the struggle or facing the challenges in the first four. And now, all the good things that she has in her are hers. She gained them by working on them. It's not automatically there the way it was before the neshama was with the body. Therefore, the Yerida is actually a way to upgrade to the third floor.
What if it's no Aliyah?
What is this? No such a thing. I'll tell you why, and this is very long to answer this. So she asked a very good question. That's very nice if we are very optimistic to say, you know what? Yeah, she faced all these challenges. What if she didn't have so much success or success at all? So in a way, it's risky to send her downstairs. The answer is, in any case, it's better. Why? First of all, we are talking now here about, wow, how I'm going to say it. You know, I have to think about the implication of everything that I'm saying, especially when it's recorded. But I'll say it anyways, because this is the truth, I don't care. We mentioned in the last lectures that there are differences between souls. And there are higher souls and less higher souls. Remember we talked about this? Okay? So we're talking now about Jewish souls. Let's emphasize on Jewish souls. Jewish souls has higher status of this, soul-wise. Therefore, we required and it demands from us much more than regular people. Therefore, we have 613 mitzvos when the other people in the world has only 7. I cannot go further than that now, but it's higher neshamas. And to answer your question, Chava, is when you're talking about such a neshama who come to this world after 121 years, if you make the calculation, it was worth it. Let me explain what I mean. Every person who got in this world, again, I'm talking about now about us. Every neshama, a Jewish neshama to come to this world, has free will. Of course, you start acting in the field of the free will only at the age of bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah. Before that, it's education, it's training, but okay. So the time of free will is from the age of 12 for ladies, from the age of 13 for boys, to the end of the life, 120. Let's talk about regular round numbers. So we have actually, in the good case, 107 years for male, 108 years for female of free will. At this time of the free will, people will do good things and not too good things. After 120, there is a summary of all the action that this person did when the neshama was with the body. It says that אפילו פושעי ישראל מלאים מצוות כרימון. Even people who are פושעי ישראל, meaning that they didn't do the Torah the way it is, the way it should be, they chose not to be doing what's right. They have, even if they didn't have the intention, a lot of mitzvot. And this is the good things that they did. No one, it's hard to find someone, probably there are, but there are very few, of people who never do any good thing in their life. No such a thing. About every not good thing that we did, that anyone did, they're gonna pay the full price of the effect, of the negative impact. But after they finish to pay everything, which is maximum after 1 year after they passed away. Because when the neshama separates the body, there is a picture taken of the balance between negative action and positive actions. Negative actions must be erased within 12 months. Must be erased. How? Kaddish is a support, but there are, I don't have time now, I thought to speak about this next lecture, maybe we'll do it. That there are, after 120, there are 4 options where the neshama goes. But in this year, we were more talking about moving from stage A to stage 2. Next year, I want to go, what happened after 120? I'll just tell you the headlines. Okay, there are 4 options of what happened to the neshama when the neshama separates the body. If this person has only good things, meaning there is no such a thing. Same way that could not be that a person did only negative, the entire action, the entire deeds, same way is the opposite. The Pasuk says, En Adam Tzadik Ba'aretz, Asher Ya'aseh Tov V'lo Yichta. No such a thing that this person is perfect, never did anything wrong. But even if a person did few wrong things, there are ways to fix them. First of all, tshuva. Tshuva could erase everything. So imagine theoretically someone who was, in general, a tzaddik, but he did few wrong things, he did tshuva for them and passed away. The neshama is neshama going straight to Gan Eden. Gan Eden is not Olam Haba, we explained that it's a place to stay, a good place to be until Tchiyas HaMeisim. So this is option number 1. Option number 2, that this person has good deeds and not too good deeds, and he did tshuva about some of the not good actions. He has suffering and this took away another part, but there is still negative actions in his account. This person has to go to Gehinnom. Gehinnom is a washing machine for 12 months, max. After 12 months, Gehinnom is a suffering place. The suffering is exactly according to the wrong action. You made the action, you have to pay for it, and there are programs for every wrong action. But there is no way that after 12 months, all the wrong negative action will not be there anymore. So after 12 months, this soul goes to Gan Eden. So this is option number 2. Option number 3 is reincarnation. And option number 4 is something called the sling, Kaf HaKela. So we'll speak about them, Be'ezrat Hashem, next week. Anyways, after 121, now it will be more explained, right? More understood. It was worth, even if this person that made in his entire life only 4 mitzvos, but those 4 mitzvos, after he got punished or pay off all the debts, Those 4 mitzvahs are the upgrade from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor, and it was worth to go downstairs to the 1st floor. Got it? So therefore, it's, in any case, it's good. Of course, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. The question is what portion? And the portion is according to what you do. Therefore, staying here on the 1st floor is very important because it will decide forever your status in the 3rd floor, meaning eternity.
That's what
Reincarnation, we'll speak about it next week. So this is basically the thing that I want to cover today. Another one thing, we ask, if the fetus learned the entire Torah in the 9 months of the pregnancy, and you cause him to forget it when he comes to this concealment world, what's the point to teach him in the first place? The answer is, when you forgot, it's not erasing the information. It's still in the subconscious. And because it's there is something amazing. One of the unusual and not normal and not explained urges that we have in our personality as human beings is curiosity. Did you heard about curiosity? Curiosity is the mother of knowledge. But this character, this tchuna, this character called curiosity is completely not normal.
It's not what?
Normal.
Not normal?
Not normal. And I'll explain what I mean.
In this world, it's not normal.
It's not normal. I'll explain. The curiosity is a good thing. Because of it, we want to learn. And this is the mother of knowledge, the curiosity. Problem is that the curiosity doesn't have limits. Because we are curious, we want to know, right? What do we want to know? Everything. What is the most thing that you want to know? The things that you could not know. Right? Everyone wants to know what will be. We want to know the future. We want to know the mystery. Why? Be realistic, be normal. Understand the limits. Why you want to know what will be? It's never happened yet. If it's never happened, it's not reality. So why are you wasting your time trying to know what's going to be? Why you want to know the hidden? And the curiosity push us, especially to those areas. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to know what's hidden. The answer to this amazing phenomena is understanding the relationship between the body and the soul. Why I could not know the future? Because of the limits of time. Right? Time has past, present, future, and every physical is in the present only. The past pass away. The future is not yet here. So all what you have is here, is now. Now. So remember the now. The here is because of the limits of space. You cannot be in 2 places in the same time. You must be here. So the now and the here are the reality of the physical. Now we have a body. The body is physical? Yes. So it's belong to the now and to the here? Yes. Where does curiosity come from? Not from the body, from the neshama. The neshama is not limited by time and space. Therefore, for the neshama, the future is accessible the same way the present. There is no hidden, because the hidden is because of the limit of space. There is no limit of space. So now you see how difficult is the neshama to dwell in the body. It's like Superman in a jail. So the neshama naturally wants to know everything. But the neshama cannot do it because Superman is in a jail, and the jail force him to look, to see only how much the eye, the physical, limited physical eyes, give him to see. the physical limited ability of hearing is limited, right? It's not giving us a real picture about the reality. This is the problem. But because of this urge that's inside of each one of us, we're trying to break through the limits and to know. And that's why we learn the Torah. When we learn the Torah is still inside of us. And the Torah is the blueprint of the world, meaning everything that in the reality potentially is in us. When we forget it, it's not erased, it's there. So when you learn things, you do not learn new thing. You just draw something that was in you in advance. And actually, just a minute, and actually, aside from that, what the Torah explains about how it works, very interesting that in the works, philosophical works of Plato, he said the same thing. Plato, the Greek philosopher, he said that all the human ideas are in us potentially, and if it was not there, he said, when we will came across them, we will never realize them. And when we realize them, it's just taking out things that in us. But it's in our sources much before Plato. Yeah.
So then the term learn is not really a proper term.
True. True. When you learn, you actually relearn what did you learn when you was a fetus.
Access.
Right.
Is more proper,
True.
perhaps.
True. And that's what we could cover today. And this is the moving from state A, when the neshama is a neshama, to when it's in the body. Of course, we have to, I don't know how to do it, cover what's happening, what is actually the fight or the conflict or the struggle or the cope of the free will during the 120 years. But because we have only one class, we will speak more about what happened in the neshama after 120, and maybe I'll have some time to squeeze a few things to free will and understand the position of the body and the soul in the struggle in this world. This is for today, and thank you for listening.